President Nana Akufo-Addo could not say much when confronted by NTA News. The Ghanaian leader, who is seeking for a second term in office, was elected chairman of ECOWAS at the 57th Extraordinary Summit of Heads of State and Government held in Niger Republic on the 7th of this month. Now, the Joint Health Sector Unions, JOESU, and the Assembly of Healthcare Professional Associations, ARPA, have directed the members to suspend the nationwide warning strike from Sunday midnight, 20th of September 2020. JOESU's chairman said by this notice, all health workers under JOESU and ARPA shall return to work on Monday, 21st of September 2020 across all federal health institutions in the country. It said JOESU will continue to use all legitimate means to defend the rights and welfare of its members. Now, to COVID-19 update, the Nigeria Center for Disease Control has announced 97 new cases of COVID-19 in Nigeria. This brings the total confirmed cases to 57,242, 48,569 discharged, while 1,098 persons have died as a result of the outbreak of the virus in the country. And in other news, and that's it on the update. Thank you so much for watching.
For now, the best and most efficient way to avoid getting infected is through regular hygienic and sanitary practices, as well as social distancing. As individuals, we remain the greatest weapon to fight this pandemic.
Among developed countries is that they create and design their products, be it house, cars, toys, name it. This creative mind and ingenuity is responsible for the industrial and technological revolution taking place in those countries. Indeed, arts and crafts is a tool used in nation building. Nigeria's arts and craft value is rising fast. Evidence that the creative minds in the country is thinking towards industrialization and technological development. Join me as we explore arts and crafts on today's What Matters. My name is Emeka Michael. On today's edition, we'll look at the changing narrative in Nigerian artwork, as well as the abundant opportunities that are before the artists. Also, we'll focus on the investment side of art by the collector, followed by a display of artworks in the gallery. And lastly, the importance of auction house in promoting Nigerian arts and artists. Nigerian artwork is being appreciated more than before because of the message it conveys to the public. In this feature, we look at how this is happening.
Nigeria is rich in culture, in arts and crafts, music, dance, dressing, and language. Collectively, This cultural inheritance has been used to describe our identity as well as our oneness. Apart from being items that personify cultural heritage, artworks and crafts have become tokens of appreciations, such as souvenir and memento given to people. Nigeria as a nation has had a long part of our history celebrating art. The event of Festac 77, known as the Second World Black and African Festival of Arts and Culture, was the foremost international festival that boosted Nigerians' artwork. The event had in display various artworks such as the Nok Terracotta, Benin Court Art, Ibo-Uku, Ife, and Sode. Since that event was hosted, Nigerians have continued to produce artwork that depicts their culture as well as the essence of life that molded her past.
An artist's representation of his inner urges. That's when you have to talk about artworks. It's a way, artists tell the stories of what they see around themselves in the society and use it to pass a message that people can also adhere to.
To some Nigerians, the past in itself and all that it exhibits makes life spiritual, which to them does not fit into their present reality. But that sense on its own inhibits the appreciation of artwork in general. Contemporary Nigerian artwork is now changing the narrative of presuming art as non-fit for human association to a medium that conveys message to people. Art is now being appreciated.
I usually say it should be enjoyed like music or like theater. When you see an artwork, you know whether you can connect with it or not. And when you can connect with it, then you enjoy it. You say, oh, this is nice, or this is not nice for me. Because it may not be nice for you, but it may be nice for another person.
Art can be appreciated in different ways. But first of all, I think the best way to do that is to introduce it to the younger ones. Let's catching them while they're young.
Artists in the industry have continued to project their works deep into the hearts of the people through their pieces. Artwork is now an asset for business because of its durability. Since Nigerians have found a niche in art, no doubt the industry will be sustained due to the abundance of stories buried in our society, which can be told through art.
Art is no longer seen as just spiritual, but an appreciation of people's ingenuity in conveying message. Now the artist is the man in the middle of this progress. What are the factors responsible for the recognition of Nigerian art globally? Let's take this feature.
The world is an art with human beings as the materials used in designing it. In Nigeria, the art world is expanding with lots of opportunities. For the lovers of arts, Nigerian arts have been trending in the global markets due to some wonderful features that you might call the Nigerian factor.
There are no actualities, but there are a couple of factors. The first thing is that Nigeria has, either by virtue of its oil economy, has a certain deposit of funds that can actually drive anything that we put our minds to. It's sad that quite often we don't put our mind to things. As it is now, a lot of artists in the past have been very resilient, in pushing this argument about the value of art in Nigeria. We can talk about the Ben and Wongus and the Lashekons and you can talk about the Ucho KKs, the Odejus down to the Oshinowas, who are some of the important drivers of the commerce of the arts in Nigeria and the art sector. So you find that there are people who have pushed the narrative and are driving it towards the center of our social discourse.
In view of the developments in the art industry, what then is the place of the artist in the secondary market?
The truth is that if we look at it from a very idealistic viewpoint, the place of the artist in the secondary sale ought to be guaranteed. Because the moment a person produces a piece of intellectual property, you should always reserve a right to that property even after the sale, except otherwise stated in your contract between yourself and the buyer. So, in many instances or in many countries, there are policies that protect the rights of the artist in the secondary market, where a certain percentage, it could be 5%, it could be 10%, that goes back to the artist at each resale of their work. When I lived in Lagos, when I was in Lagos, I was there for about 8 years. As a member of the Society of Nigerian Artists, there was a period where the policy for the inclusion of that intellectual right of the artist in the secondary market was galvanized by the executive of the SNA at that time. I don't really know how far they've gone in securing that right. But once that right is secured, we are guaranteed a 10% return on any secondary market sale of our work.
Actually, the unlimited capacity of the Nigerian artists to put up their works at global events has contributed in promoting Nigerians' arts and the artists. Kudos also goes to the galleries and auction houses for creating this needed opportunity through marketing. Currently, a lot of institutions are beginning to view and request for Nigerian arts. In all of that, we bring in the collector to tell us his part in creating a buoyant market for the artist and his work.
Arts are not just mere investments, but possessions with meaning because they are created with a purpose and for a message.
State of art is growing. The awareness for art in Nigeria is growing. I think thanks to social media right now, you find that a lot of creative people are actually expressing themselves on social media unlike before. And they're also picking up tips from the Western world and also from Asia on how to be more creative in terms of art. In terms of paintings and photographs, you have quite a number of rising young artists who are specializing in being professional artists right now. So there are a lot of art galleries all across the country right now, especially Lagos, where there's also a bid process for art right now. There's an auction house for art right now in Lagos as well, where people take their artworks there and they are auctioned and people buy it at the highest prices. So I think the awareness in Nigeria is actually growing.
In selecting an artwork, you must keep in mind some features that would help you make the right selection.
It depends. You can have an emotional attachment to an artwork. You can possibly like the beauty of a particular artwork. And there's also a financial benefit depending on who the artist is. Because in art you have various categories of artists. You have the masters, those are the elderly who have proven themselves in the art world, whereby they are internationally recognized within Africa and Europe and across the world. Then you also have the up-and-coming artists who have a lot of potential and who are striving to become masters. So those are the factors that you take into consideration when you're buying art. So you can buy art actually as an investment. You can buy art as something that pleases you and you derive pleasure by looking at the artwork. And also you can buy art as to occupy your wall in your house to keep it busy.
For anyone with cash, Who has no investment idea? Buying art is an investment that has a durability and long-term cash appreciation.
Well, I'll put it this way. Art is a form of investment in the sense that there are certain artists, like I said, like the masters, you have Nigerian masters. There are certain artists, if you buy their work, over time they appreciate in value, and that becomes an investment for you. So you can actually buy work and keep it, or you can even decide to resell it at a greater value from the amount that you actually bought the work. So it's there for investment, but it's not every artist that has that potential for value added on their artwork. Those who are into it and who have been recognized both locally and internationally as being masters, as being professionals in their profession, the value of their work definitely increases over time. The key thing is, if you're an artist and you have that flair to paint or to sculpt, you have to attend exhibitions. You have to participate in exhibitions. You also have to do your own exhibitions if you can, or partner with others to do exhibitions. Attend both local and possibly international exhibitions for you to be out there, for people to recognize your work and also appreciate your work. You can't sit down at home, create art and expect to get value for it when it is not out there being appreciated. It is when it is out there being appreciated that you get value for your work.
Art has provided a platform for people to thrive, even for upcoming generations.
I think what we need to do is, there's a National Gallery of Art in Nigeria, and presently I think they are not well, the awareness of them is not there. I believe that what we should do is that there should be more exhibitions, there should be more awareness of the creative nature of Nigerians within that industry. They should do more media, there should be more media attention on them, there should be more exhibitions out there, and also they should try as well as much as possible to attract people to appreciate the value of art that they actually produce.
So, Nigerian arts are now instruments of investment? Good news. What matters will go on a break, and when we come back, we will look at the masterpiece of Nigerian artists in display. Welcome back. We're still on What Matters. Let's explore the masterpiece and creativity of Nigerian artists.
If we have over the time preserved our history and our culture, maybe not in written form, but in art, in visual art, we would have a more precise and more concise way of preserving our history. Look at Egypt, for example. Look at the hieroglyphy in the pyramids and the walls. They have been able to use that to tell stories of the past.
Preserving a nation's past has been made relevant in different forms. But visual art has been the most formidable aspect that has impacted much on generations unborn. Art gallery plays a significant role as custodians of these possessions. The contribution of the artists do not only tell stories, but they project imaginative creativity of life around us and beyond. As part of the society, the artist reveals his thoughts on political, social, economic issues that affect everyone. He employs an array of material which he compresses into visual forms to drive home his messages.